So welcome back, everyone. We're just getting ready to start the CCI2 Star Short. It's quite a large class this afternoon. We are at the inaugural event at Terranova, and very, very excited to have this beautiful facility for just wonderful eventing here in southern Florida. This two-star show jumping course is at a height of 1.15 meters. The time allowed is 83 seconds, and it involves 13 efforts with 11 obstacles. Beautifully placed obstacles. The jumps are just gorgeous. And this particular class is sponsored by Blalock Walters. Blalock Walters law firm provides high quality personnel and comprehensive legal services to businesses and individuals. For more than 95 years, Blalock Walters remains dedicated to their legacy of giving back to the communities in which we live and prosper. We also have a really super exciting charity competition going on all weekend, where they've actually taken the just under 150 riders from every level, from starter up to 4-star short, and put them into one of 3 teams, and they add the cumulative score of all those 50 people, and the one with the lowest score is able to win the $10,000 prize, which becomes a donation to the charity that they've been assigned to, that they're riding for. And we have 3 charities. And as we get started, we have our first horse on course, and that is Maxine Preston on Fernhill HC High Rise, owned by Jerry Barnett. Maxine enters the show jumping on a 73.4, and she has that first rail. It's a little bit like he jumped over his shoulders. Very good on that outside line. Now the horses come across a short diagonal at the black and yellow almond, and he has that down. Now they turn back around onto themselves to the 8th fence. Jumps that well. Now to the combination. It's a nice 1 stride. Oxer doesn't get the 1, ends up on 1.5, and wow, and so jumps at a 1.5. The horse can't get out of the way, and she knows the horse has not in front of her leg, so she sends it forward to get it in front of the leg, and he just doesn't answer to her, and he chips in, and he does clear that, but it was a very awkward jump, only to recover and jump a very good last jump. So she had 4 down for 16, 4 for each rail, and add 16 to her score coming in, and her final will be 89.4. Now we have Pedro Gutierrez on his own California Mail. They are coming on 20th place with a very good cross country yesterday. A little bit slow, just to do some good training on his lovely mare. So this is a really wonderful horse. I really love this mare. I know Pedro has spent a lot of time with her and really loves her. Oh, that first fence goes down. That's such a shame. the second one as well. I know he's going to try now maybe in this turn to get her shape back so that she has a good shape to be able to jump up around the fourth fence. It's a better jump. And now he's getting into a good rhythm with her. Come across a short diagonal to this very imposing black and yellow, and you like to look a little bit through it. Bending line to the skinny that we talked about in the last class, and he jumps that well. She's good at the blue. And now on to this last line. The one stride gets it nice and easy. Yeah, nice 7 strides to the musical notes, and a great turn to the last, and has a good jump there. So 78 seconds, just under 78 seconds on the course, and with 12 jump penalties, so he will have a finishing score of 75. So now starting her course is Autumn Schweiss on Bamford CF, owned by Julie Schweiss, and she comes in, does a nice job at the first. That's 4 faults for the jump at the third. Clear over the fourth. And really nicely through the combination, the one stride between the vertical and oxer. Autumn comes into the show jumping with a 50.9, standing in 19th position. She had 20 on the cross country yesterday, but I thought she had actually a very good cross country round. She gets a really good shot at the blue jump coming out of the corner, and oh, he just hits that, just touches that on the way up. Good over the melody notes, and now on to the last. And has a great jump at the last. So that is 2 down for her. I think the time is good. 3 down, pardon me. And so the time is good, and so her final is going to be on a 62.6. Next in the arena is Faith Wilkerson. Evening Melody. 32.4 in dressage, finishing 18th. 10.8 on the time on cross country with a clear round, and a 43.2 coming into the show jumping in 18th position. Had a great start here. Jumps the third very nicely. A little bit having to reach for that, but the horse really answers to her. Lovely jumper. Oh shoot, I shouldn't have said that. Has that on the way up. And now just skimming across the vertical in, so that's 2 down. 3 down. And a 4th. You know, we've continued to say all day how influential this show jumping is in our sport, and none more important than this, than today on this particular course. You don't just end up getting a clear because you're lucky. There's no luck involved today. You have to be accurate. You know, the footing couldn't be better. The horses have a lot of good purchase off the ground, plus a lot of spring. And, you know, it's just heartbreaking when you've had a good cross country and then you come back and the horses just don't quite jump high enough. So Faith ends up with Evening Melody on a 75.2. Well, I'm pretty excited at the moment. Can you feel my excitement? I'm pretty excited because my friend and colleague Sarah Cousin-Plig-Murphy has just walked in, and she is on such a high as she should be, because I'm telling you, this sport is hard, and she made the whole weekend look easy on 2 horses, winning 1 division, 2nd in another. Sarah, I can't tell you how happy everybody in the eventing community is. Your work ethic for this particular project here at Terranova, and then pulling off these incredible rides all weekend and finishing in the winner's circle and 2nd on your 4-star horse. We're really happy for you. It's awesome. You rode beautifully.
Thank you so much, Karen. That means a huge amount coming from you. And we have Lauren coming in here, which we should watch. But yeah, I was almost of 2 minds as whether I should have entered this weekend, but I'm feeling pretty good about that decision now.
I bet you are.
Horses were super, but let's watch Lauren. And
okay, and Lauren is on I'll Have Another. Lauren Nicholson, and so Lauren is going out of turn. Coming to the first.
I just talk about a beautiful show jumping rider. So I'm hoping that my student who's in 4th place right now is watching this.
Yeah, so Lauren comes in on a 32.4 in 11th position, but my God, the scores are so tight. And she had to go out of order because, of course, she's also in, what place is she in? I'm scrolling down here. She's also in 7th place on Mrs. Mar's horse, Jungle Gold. She's a beautiful, smooth rider, isn't she?
Always has been. I mean, and she's lucky enough to come up in your program with you and David, and she's taken over the ride of a lot of Miss Mars's gorgeous horses, and honestly, couldn't have a better jockey to do that.
Well, and I have to say, she's also been working with Scott Keach for a number of years in the show jumping. David and Scott worked together with Lauren, I think, and you know, she came down to Ocala for a month. We talked about it earlier, and she thinks that has really made a big difference in her technical merit over the jumps and her attention to detail. Because as you know,
Scott Keach is unbelievable.
Yeah, but as you know, in show jumping, you're very familiar with it, how technical it is, and we tend to not necessarily pay that much attention to the technical aspect of it.
No, I mean, you've always been a very good show jumper. I think I agree. I couldn't agree more. And I think the other double advantage of training with Scott Keach is also a super cross country and was a super event rider.
He and I competed against each other in in 1986 in Gawler, Australia, at the World Championships. They weren't called World Equestrian Games at that point because they were separate. Each sport was separate. So it was the World Championships, and he was 21 years old. He was like the kid. He was the great Australian hope, and he did a fantastic job, and then went on to be doing pure show jumping.
He's actually one of my favorite cross-country riders to watch, and he's become I've watched him. There you go. I've watched him kind of get better and better in the show jumping, and now he's.
So now on course we have Alex O'Neill with Red Tail Achiever, and he comes forward into the show jumping. We just had him in the booth here. He's a great commentator. Seems to know everything about everybody, which is really fun.
A little scary, maybe.
No, I would say it's super fun though. He's really.
He's a lovely guy. I mean,
Yeah,
he and
he's
Ellie are
awesome.
just such a great. I think we're blessed in eventing because we really do have. I mean, maybe I'm being biased, but I really feel like we have such a great group of people.
Oh, and there goes 2, and so he comes in on a 35.5. He's added 8 now. These, this. What's your thoughts on? I know you've just jumped 2 clear rounds, so it's a little bit distorted for you. But what's your thoughts on how many problems we're having on the show jumping course today?
I was just talking about that with a friend, and to me, the genius of Nick Granite, because we know the ring is friendly, right? Because the horses were very settled in here for the dressage. But the genius to me of Nick Granite is he builds very deceivingly simple, beautiful, flowing tracks. But where he places the fences, I think, is quite key. I mean, again, I don't know as much as, I thought in the 4-star, like, when he put that green rail coming towards the VIP tent with the grouse behind it, I think this music jumping into the stands, just all of that.
But I also think that his genius is also in the placement of the poles between the standards. He has an uncanny way of placing the rails so that the horses have a tendency to look through the rails to the next jump. And if you notice, there are no flowers. There's not one flower box under any of these jumps.
Yep.
And some of these jumps are painted in a little bit 3D, like the almond jump feels a little 3D to the horses, and so it's just a really interesting combination of challenges for the riders and horses that we're not used to. So incoming now is Samantha Tinney on Cuddy Sark, and Sam's had a very good weekend so far. She comes forward on a 41.8 with a really good cross-country round with 9.6 time, which was one of the faster rounds. Cuddy Sark's a very, very good jumper, but he gets enthusiastic, He's,
absolutely. I mean, Sinead did such a good job with this horse. Such a good job.
She brought him up to the 3-star level?
Yes, she did. Yes, and actually that was right when she
Or
was having
4-star, I
Brooks.
guess, right?
And she did some intermediates with him, and then was fairly heavily, and did actually 3-star at Carolina, and then was needed to not ride anymore because she was about to give birth. And Leslie rode the horse for a bit for her, which is it's hard to have it's a shame to have a rider like that to catch ride your horse. She went back on, but I mean, it's just cool to watch these horses then go on and be
absolutely
teach young riders.
Yeah, and Sam works really hard at her sport. She has relocated from Texas to Ocala, and her dad's a huge supporter. Shout out to Terry if he's there. I haven't seen him this weekend.
Where would we be without our
the
support behind the scenes? Is pretty important. Well,
you and I both have had huge support. Still have huge support.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
Come on, Sam. And she jumps
Good
a
girl.
Great clear.
That was super. I love
She'll
how
be
confident
so
she
happy.
was in that ride.
Yep, she'll be so happy.
Well, and the other thing, I'm sure you were down there walking the course, but we were just talking about the different things with Nick. The other thing that I think event riders are not used to is he didn't make it, it's not like strange or anything, but sometimes something was a slightly closed distance or a slightly open distance. And I think that's something we're not as used to practicing as much either.
The outside line has been riding pretty good all day, and it's just a nice distance. You don't have to make a big move. But as you felt yourself when you came off of that oxer, you had to move to the combination coming the other way, so that your horse could get there early and back up. And that's something that you learn over time with a lot of practice jumps. And I think you needed to, like, if you have a horse that's a little careful, I have a couple of careful horses, and I felt like you needed to kind of come off the right in your tour of the ring and just come around and like face down that too. I think that was, it depends on your horse, but for me that was helpful. Here we have Cornelia Dore on By the Sea. I really enjoy watching this horse, but I enjoy watching Cornelia ride anything. I think she's super talented and definitely a rider for the future to be representing the United States.
For sure. And it's a little nod to her hometown because she's from Manchester.
Manchester on the Sea?
Yeah.
By the Sea, Manchester, by the Sea.
Yeah, it's a little nod to her hometown, and I do really like this horse.
She's living a long way from there, though.
Yeah.
Jacob Fletcher and Cornelia have a bit of a business together, bringing along horses and you know, selling them on to where they need to go.
And she's doing a great job of that.
Doing a great job,
Yeah.
and but that experience gives them so much chance to ride a vast group of horses. Which, if you're going to be good at this, you have to have that kind of experience. Otherwise, you end up doing it on one horse that you get along with, and you bring it up to the levels. Next thing you know, you can't reproduce it because you haven't had the experience of riding multiple horses. Well, she just made that look ridiculously
lovely.
easy.
And I know she loves that horse, and I know she'll be absolutely delighted
She
with that.
will
Well
be
done,
thrilled.
Cornelia. Yeah.
And so,
Well, and you know, it is going back to the things of just sort of studying the sport, Karen. I mean, you know how god awful I was. I think you've got to. Well, you know that. I mean, we listen.
This is
but
very funny.
But we've just got to all we all have to take it seriously. We all have to study it and learn. And you know, you could be a lot of times event riders love galloping across the country, but they need to learn the arts of, and you know, it takes a lot of work to get better in the dressage and show jumping, and then.
So
You know,
Cornelia Dore went out of order because she has two horses and one at the top, and Tick Maynard also has one at the top. In fact, it is the top spot, and this horse is in third, so it's a very, very important round. Tick's been working so hard on his horses in the show jumping in all of the phases, and it's really starting to come into fruition. He's been working a lot on his technique and position in the show jumping.
I think he's a gorgeous rider.
Well, you know, I have a little bit of a soft spot for Tick.
Well, he's a gorgeous rider.
But now he's had to trot to canter, which is the right thing to do, but he has to keep that in the back of his mind that he has those little bit of a time issue. That was a great ride. He has to get around these corners, taking your time to recover, but also not taking too much time. Be quick around so that you can get back up into the time. Super. Yeah, Tick, he breaks. We have a great young horse program with the breeder from Louisiana of Oldenburgs and the Newtowns, and they bring all of their best young horses to Ocala for David and I to bring along and train. And Tick has become involved in that program, and so during the summer he breaks, quote unquote breaks, with his natural horsemanship skills. He breaks all of our babies, and that was a beautiful clear.
Wasn't that a beautiful clear? And what a smart idea that is to have him do that. He is exceptionally good at it.
I teach him in return, so it's
perfect. A good bartering system.
So I'm pretty proud of what just happened.
Wow,
He's sitting there on a 28.6. He will be no less than third place in this division.
Wow.
And he will be so excited.
Wow.
He is riding that horse. He's only just started riding that horse in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 months. So it's a great result. To Sarah, now we're down to Sarah Beth Anton, and she is riding Q course. So we have at the moment Tick on a 28.6, Cornelia Dore on a 30, and then Lauren on a 32.4. So it's all pretty tight at the top.
Very tight. It's nice to see so many entries in this two-star as well.
That's great.
Yeah, especially like you were saying, you know, Kentucky's such a lovely venue, and they have their eventing going on this weekend as well.
So Sarah
It's nice
Beth,
to have this.
yeah, Sarah Beth was quick around the course yesterday on a clear round, 4.8 to add to her dressage score, so she came in on 39.5, She adds 8 to that, and she will end up on a 40.
Oh, don't start. I'm making me add, Karen.
Oh, okay.
Don't start.
Okay.
We know that's not going to happen. I'm just.
Eliza Farron on Corfino PJ, owned by Patricia Cohn.
All right, so I actually need to. I think I need to buzz down because my kid is about to go.
Your kid?
My kid is about to go, Kira Kenny. So I'm just going to head down to the warm up. But I shall be back and join you shortly, Karen.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Sorry, I gotta go do that.
Oh dear. Well, that is just such a shame. You know, you go through all the practice, all the getting ready, all the training, 3 days of competition, and make one mistake, and now we have a loose horse. That's a shame. So we have rider 37 coming in the ring now, and that is Kyle Cotter on Gestar van de Klinkenberg. That is a mouthful. Kyle, that's all I gotta say about that. So this horse is owned by Lila Sachs, and it is a Dutch warm blood, 2004. So it's a bit of an older horse. On to the first, and that's no problem. And it looks like Kyle is riding this horse for Lila. Still good to the fourth. This 5AB is a little bit of a bogey going in, but he's clear through that and looking really good. Kyle comes in on a 30.8 after dressage, only 2.4 on the cross country for a 33.2. He's sitting in 12th place, but as we've been watching, clear rounds are really, really important. Had the one down now. Lines up for the double. Very nice through that related distance of 7 strides to the melody notes and over the last. So he will add 4 to his overnight score and will finish on a 37.2. Now we have Briggs Surratt, number 35, on Booming Butteran. And this is a thoroughbred off the track. I thought the horse went really well yesterday on the cross country. He had a 30.6 in the dressage, clear around the jumps, 1.2, so only 3 seconds over to be on a 31.8. This horse was very nervous when I first met him about a year ago, and Briggs has done a really good job to have the horse make the career change from racing to eventing. And it has not just been so easy. He's quite spooky at the jumps, but at the same time, he wants to rush. So it's a combination of things. And you can see how he just got a little tight there and had that vertical, that oxer on the way up. And then he has the vertical. So, you know, it happens with horses that they actually, when they have one down, they start to get nervous about the fact that they're not doing a good enough job. And then they have another, and then another. And that is his third now. Briggs just needs to reset. He needs to slow down, get communication back with him. He jumps the blue okay, little stutter off the ground. He just needs to go slow with his thought process, because of course the thoroughbreds like to think really fast. He's good at the second to last. And has the last fence good as well. So he has 3 down to add 12 to his score for a 43.8. So now we have John Halling on Jux My Style. This is a horse owned by Team Rebecca, and John's had a very good weekend so far. John was second in the 3-star just a moment ago on Pioneer Archibald, which is very good, super finish, and now here he is with Jux My Style. I think this is a horse that John thinks a lot of. He had a 26.4 in dressage for a third, 5.2 time to come into this in 9th place on a 31.6. So as we know, we'll see how these rounds go, but this horse is really jumping great, really trying over the jumps, double kick behind, double pump behind to scope up over the rail. Now he's over the skinny that has caused a bit of trouble in the upper levels. Turns back around to himself to this funny looking blue jump that doesn't have a lot of color to it other than that sky blue color of the rails. Over the oxer, he's good there. Good over the vertical. Super rhythm. He just adjusted that horse to the details and a really super rhythm. He's on a clear to the last jump, and that's no problem for John. So he is going to be in the clubhouse with a 31.6, which puts him in 3rd at the moment behind Cornelia Dorr and Tick Maynard. Jessica Scholl, Luffman, MWF, owned by Meredith Miekelfelder. She was 31.3 after the dressage and clear around the cross country, coming into this in 8th place. Coming around the turn now to the 4th fence. Oh, great shot over that. But she has to move him forward, move him up for this combination. And that's always the worry. When you have to move them up, you have to get there early so that then you can get them to back up away from that front rail. And he was still a little bit on the go button when he got there. So that's 2 down so far for Jessica. Wrapping back around. Again, this blue, light blue jump with the 3 rails. It's a lot of air there, and no flowers or anything behind under it. So the horses really have a tendency to look through it. And over the penultimate jump, the Melody Notes, she straightens up for the last. Jumps that great. So unfortunately, the 2 down for Jessica, and that's gonna, I think the time is good, so that's gonna put her on a 39.3. And I know you don't want to just listen to me all day because I'm pretty boring, but Hannah Herrig, owner, co-owner, I guess, or family owner, group
Yes.
owner of this amazing property. Thank you for coming by the booth, and what do you think about all this?
Thank you. It's been a really exciting day for the show jumping. I've heard some comments from the riders that it's a little bit different than some other places that they're used to going.
Sure.
So it's been exciting to watch.
Well, let's watch one of our best show jump riders in our country, rides for the U.S. See how she navigates it. She's had a couple of clears already today. Lauren Nicholson, she is here on Landmarks Jungle Gold, owned by Jacqueline Mars, and she comes forward in second place after dressage with a 24.4, a little bit nice around the cross country, a little easy on the mare, 6.8 time, 31.2, she's in 7th place. And it's interesting because she, you know, she's also right around that same score with her other horse, and there goes that front pole on 4A, fourth fence. And then 5A, 5B, oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Now, an experienced rider like Lauren, she's going to absolutely change something because what's happening isn't working. So you either change your pace, you change the balance, you change the submission, the suppleness, the balance, whatever it is, you have to change something. You don't just, you know, keep doing the same thing and get the same result. Lauren's been in the booth with us a couple times throughout the weekend, and she's a great encyclopedia of knowledge. This horse just looks like it might be a little bit tired from yesterday. You know, she's good, like over that melody note jumped beautifully round, and yet a couple times there dropped her back and had those rails. What'd you think about all that?
Yeah, I agree. It seemed like in the related distances he got a bit flat.
Yeah.
In between.
I think the horse probably doesn't have yet quite that big, huge horse stride, and yet these are measured on horse distances. So when you have to kind of hurry it up to get down there, you end up feeling a little bit like you haven't got the tools.
Yes.
So that will bring her down the order. Now we see Alex O'Neill again for the second time, and he is riding his wife's horse, Ellie O'Neill, Redtail Penumbra, and this horse I really enjoyed watching yesterday. He's sitting in 5th position, 29.5 after the dressage, and sits on that score coming into the show jumping for a very, very competitive 5th place. If he was to go clear, he would tuck in right behind Tick Maynard in 2nd place in the clubhouse.
Looks like the scores in this division are pretty tight.
They certainly are. It's been nail biting, actually, in every division. Even the divisions that don't have a lot of competitors in them, they're still really close, the scores. So Alex had a couple down on his first horse, and I know he will have taken that information and processed it and put it into his ride with Penumbra. He's coming in hot, and that worked out for him because the horse just didn't quite land out into the line, so he had to catch up there, and he got it done. Good so far. Now he's going to turn back to the last line before the last jump. So it starts with this blue that really is so airy. It's really an interesting jump. Related distance down to an oxer square, to a vertical, and that vertical's got a lot of air in between it. He's got a very good shot at the second to last jump, and now will it be clear?
You got it.
Super ride.
That was great.
Very good ride. Well, while we have a second, tell me what's your thoughts on the weekend? Successful?
Yeah, it's been. I think it's been pretty successful, unless people are hiding something from me.
No, I think people are so excited about this property and your passion, and it's just really, really wonderful to be able to have people that want to promote the sport and want to promote it at the highest standard. So we're excited.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch, and I had a lot of family come down to support, and they aren't really involved with horses, but they did some jump judging this weekend.
Oh my goodness.
They're all
Well, you just threw
about
them
it
right in
now.
there, didn't you?
We did. We threw them in there, and they're all ready to come back. And all the new volunteers in this area that haven't had experience with eventing, they've all loved it. So that was really exciting.
That's super exciting. Kira Kenny now on FE Black Ice. And FE Black Ice, 28.8 in the dressage. Clear across the country, sitting in 4th position. Oh, that's a shame. That is a real shame. That's actually going to put her down, put him down the order a little bit. 32.8 at the moment. I think, look back before he even the horse even landed over that jump.
I know, there's one in the 3 or 4 star there. The rail came down maybe 4 strides after.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man.
Heartbreaking. I love the looks of this horse. He's got a really sharp, intelligent look, and I enjoyed watching this horse go yesterday. So, adding 4 to her score, she's going to finish on a 32.8. So now we have Cornelia Dore on our second horse, Brush Dance. Do you know this horse at all? It was really good in the dressage, 27.2.
I don't. I've seen a little bit on social media about him.
I watched a great round yesterday, clear inside the time. So sitting in 2nd position on 27.2.
But her other horse, I think By the Sea, won the Best Turned Out award.
Well, that horse is one of the, wow. That was a long standoff for that jump, but it worked for her. She obviously knows exactly what she's doing. The By the Sea horse is lovely. Best Turned Out, but also super talented horse. Clear, so he's got the 4, 1 rail down, but coming around to this vertical, the airy little vertical. That's a nasty little number.
We're on the very last one. Sorry, Karen.
Sorry. So that will add 4 to her score. That puts her on a 31.2 to finish. That's a shame, because otherwise it's just a super round.
Yeah.
So here we have the leader of the division. So Tick is, from everything I see, Tick is the winner of this division, but here he is in the lead going with his overnight lead because he was in 3rd and he jumped a clear. He jumped a clear on his first horse, so now he's going for the 1-2 punch. See what happens.
I think this is the horse that I think it is. I think he's a big horse.
Oh, it's huge. It's about 17.3.
Wow. So how does that affect him in some of these distances we have here?
He's actually very, very clever about the distances. He's tall, but he's narrow, and he's got a huge wither, and his neck comes high up out of his wither, so he's actually pretty clever. little rub there, but stays up. So far, so good. Sees a good shot going in over the blue. Now he just has to balance and keep all the fingers crossed for these last 2 jumps. Wait for it. Oh, great shot. Will it be this horse or will it be his other horse?
Let's see.
And he wins on Galileo. And
Wow, 1-2.
there you go. So he ends up on his dressage score of 21.3, which, by the way, is his all-time best dressage score on this horse, and he's really was excited about that.
Yes.
And he actually is finishing first and second on a pretty big division.
Wow. I think I might be called to hand out awards.
I
for
think
this
you need to
division,
go and hand out some
so-
awards. That's what I think. But Hannah, thank you very much. I don't know if we'll have another chance for the public to and the audience to really tell you how much we appreciate everything you and your family are doing. And you know, it's just it's a privilege to be able to come down here and be a part of something that is in its infancy, really, and yet it looks like you've been doing competitions for decades.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate all the support that we've had leading up and during the competition, and we've got a lot of great feedback from everyone, and we just enjoy seeing everyone else enjoy it and enjoying it along with them.
Well, it's funny, but you know, it's careful what you wish for, because you know, next year you're going to have probably 600 to 800 entries, and you're not going to know what to do with everybody.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're all excited about it. So thank you so much again.
thank you, and hope
All
to
right.
see you next year.
You're welcome. So here we have the final results of the CCI2 star. Tick Maynard, Canada. He is first with Galileo on 21.3 and second on Sonata, 28.6. Congratulations to those owners. It's really, really wonderful. Third is Alex O'Neill on Penumbra, 29.5. Cornelia Dorr, By the Sea with a 30. And again, Cornelia on Brush Dance with a 31.2. John Holling, Jux My Style, owned by Team Rebecca. And Lauren Nicholson, I'll Have Another, 32.4. Kira Kenny, Black Ice, 32.8. Kyle Carter, I'm not even going to try it one more time. Start of and Klinkenberg. And then Jessica Schul on Luftwan MWF. And the rest of the division, we have another whole group, but we are pretty excited about how this division, you know, how it came out and how it finished up, and that was a very influential show jumping again. And we have this particular division is sponsored by Blalock Walters, and that is them down at the prize giving, getting ready to give the prizes to the winners. And Blalock Walters law firm provides high quality personnel and comprehensive legal services to businesses and individuals. For more than 95 years, Blalock Walters remains dedicated to their legacy of giving back to the communities in which we live and prosper. We thank all the sponsors for everything that they do to contribute to this competition and also to their local community. While we're waiting for the horses, Also would like to mention Ackerman. And Ackerman is a national law firm with 24 offices throughout the United States, including 9 offices located in every major urban center in the state of Florida. Our more than 700 lawyers and consultants serve businesses and families across the country and have developed an unparalleled track record in high-stakes litigation, M&A transactions, and transformative real estate developments. Infusing startup agility with over a century of enterprise stability, Ackerman meets changing client needs while adapting to market disruptions. To learn more and stay updated on how current events impact your business, please visit ackerman.com. Our horses are coming in for their awards. In 8th place, we have Kira Kenny. In 7th place now coming is Lauren Nicholson. And I'll have another. John Halling on Jack's My Style, Team Rebecca's horse. There's Lauren. John Halling getting his prize. Cornelia Dorr both winning 4th and 5th place. By the Sea in 4th. And By the Sea also won the best turned out horse at the horse inspection. Katie Strickland wins the award. Of course, Katie is very well known on the international scene. She's been a groom and a manager for so many people that she has helped elevate their careers. Red Tail Renumbra, Ellie O'Neill's horse that Alex is riding. And we got the Canada 1-2 punch from Tick Maynard. Got the best dressage score of the entire weekend of all the horses. There's Galileo, beautiful black dark bay horse, just a stunning horse. Tick also, besides being a great competitor, and it also is acclaimed in his natural horsemanship and does many, many clinics around the country. Couldn't be happier for Tick. He works very, very hard. So, we'll be listening to the Canadian National Anthem. This is the 3rd national anthem we've heard today from different countries. Join in with us. fantastic finish, and we should mention also that winning first and second put some good points onto the charity team competition. And Tick, he is riding for Meals on Wheels. And Meals on Wheels, their mission is to assist individuals to live independently by providing nutrition and caring supportive services. Sorry, when Tick just went by, he looked straight at me because I'm his coach too, so I'm pretty excited. Didn't mean to whistle into your microphone. And congratulations to all of those that placed in this division. It was a very highly contested division, lots of horses, and of course the scores pretty competitive when you finish on a 21.3. You'll be seeing Tick and this horse again, I'm sure. I know he's got great hopes for Galileo. So we're going to start straight ahead with the open preliminary division, which will be jumping this same course.